Hello and welcome to this second Sunday in Lent. We gather in the desert of Lent so that God can speak to our hearts. On the second Sunday of Lent, we always visit with the event of the Transfiguration. And what I try to do always is to make sure that we are making the scriptures make sense in our lives, let them come alive. So very, very briefly, have you ever struggled with this? In the silence of your hearts, you come to a great reckoning. And you have to say to yourself that the dream you had has failed. And there are no two ways to put it. It has just failed. The brutal realization that the future is not going to be what you thought it was going to be. It has changed, maybe. The Transfiguration always happens on this second Sunday of Lent, but there is one thing that is common in all synoptic Gospels. Jesus is at Caesarea Philippi, and he tells his disciples at Caesarea Philippi that he is going to go to Jerusalem and he will be arrested and he will be crucified. Now, in all their planning, when they set out on this journey, they never saw that. That was one earth-shattering announcement. And some of them would have said, didn't you think you would have told us this from the very beginning? Because they never had this dream. Their dream was to go to Jerusalem to overthrow the Romans. Jesus sits on the throne of authority, his disciples as the senators. In fact, Jesus is crucified as an insurrectionist. They thought he wanted to overthrow the Romans. So the Transfiguration happens because he tells his disciples that this is not going to happen. In fact, he will die. And that shakes their faith in him. So he brings them up this mountain to show them one thing, I think, or a couple of things. One, that God is still in control of events, that it seems as if things are unraveling, but that God is still in control of things. For those of you who had to change gears, to come to terms with this grim reality that the future sometimes is not as you had imagined it to be. To those of you who find yourselves bearing a child, that completely shakes you. Those of you who find yourself bearing a husband or a wife, or going through a divorce or losing a job, it completely changes everything and you feel everything is falling apart. I think in the Transfiguration we are saying God is still in control of the events of our lives. And he wants the disciples to see that. I was touched by this line that after that a voice came from the clouds and it says, "This is my beloved son, listen to him." Well, maybe the disciples thought, is he really now the beloved Son of God if he's going to suffer and die? And the other thought is, listen to him. So on this feast of the Transfiguration, how good are you at listening to the pain and the disappointments of others? And can you be a voice of God that reassures them? God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.